Twisted Christian community. Welcome to the podcast.
Yo.
We are back in the studio and just
vibing out.
Just vibing out.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's been happening, man?
Oh, dude, you look pretty good in my jacket.
Thanks, dude. It's a nice woolen jumper.
That's
Not
it.
jumper. What is it? Jacket.
Hipster eyes.
Hipster ass, man. Yo.
Yeah.
Where we're at, we just got out of lockdown. It feels
That's it.
good, man.
Feels good.
It feels good to be out.
Man, I'm vibing so hard to this song. I
It's
love
good,
it.
huh?
What is it? Who's it by?
John Mayer, New Light, from one of his new albums.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
Cool, man. I like it. I hope it doesn't get us banned from copyright or anything like that. Hey, it's instrumental, right? So
Yeah.
Just
Hopefully
vibe
John
it.
Mayer loves us.
that's it for sure. John Mayer, hit us up if you hear this.
Yeah, we love your music, man.
That'll be great. Awesome. We uploaded our first episode this week, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah.
Feeling pretty good.
Feels pretty cool, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
So good, so good. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll jump right into the podcast today. All right.
So,
Yo, dude.
just plug this out.
That's it. Plug that out.
I'll just turn your phone on silent.
Huh? Put my phone on
Yeah,
silent.
check
Yeah, okay, here we go. Put everything on.
You know, our
silent.
listeners don't want to hear all your messages,
Oh, messages.
dinging off. Bing.
From all the ladies. From the ladies.
So I like to think.
Yeah. From church.
What's been happening, man? Yo, dude, I got a funny story.
Tell me.
I just went and got a haircut because,
Oh, yeah,
after
yeah.
coming out of lockdown,
Nice,
I
nice.
look fresh.
Gotta look fresh. Gotta look fresh for the podcast.
That's it. Gotta have those visuals looking good.
Sorry, speaking of which, let me just put my underwear back on. Convicted Christian community starts with putting your underwear
Undies
on.
on.
Amen.
Number one thing to do in the morning. So I went and got a haircut, right?
Yeah.
And he was giving me sort of a fade, but he was like, you can't go, too high up on the sides because he's like, the way your face is contoured, it goes, small to bigger
Yeah.
up the top. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's because I've just got a big brain. And he was like, he's an old Italian guy. So
Yeah.
he's like, you funny boy.
Wait till he actually finds out about your intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hung around me for long enough.
Yeah.
He-
Then he'll know the reason
I
why.
think he was just laughing in pity, really. He's like, oh, you think so, son? Come on.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So if you're interested in seeing his haircut, you will never see it. And with that, make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Today's topic is pasta innovation. Dun-dun-dun!
Like, eating pasta?
Linguine innovation.
Linguine.
What are some innovative
Linguine.
lasagna you've seen?
Putting linguine
Yeah.
in a lasagna. Innovation.
Okay, now please don't try this at home. We don't want our listeners to take unnecessary risks, of course. That's for sure.
What did you say?
Pasta.
Pasta innovation.
Pasta. Hey, pasta. Hey, pasta, why don't you come on over here? Pray over our problems. Hey, pasta. Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta, or you Americans call it pastor.
Pasta.
Pastor innovations.
Even with the accents, you're still going to have to explain, what are you talking about?
What you talking about? Okay. What are some of the innovative things that you've seen a pastor do
Right. Okay.
to engage your congregation?
Yeah.
Get the congregation like following suit. What are some cool stuff? I want to challenge some pastors today. You know what? Every time we say pastors today, we're going to say pastors.
Pastors.
We're going to say pastor. You pastors better listen up.
Pastor.
Because I don't think pastors actually pastors get, I'm going to cut this out. Sorry if it hasn't been already annoying enough.
Oh, man.
This is what happens if we don't talk for a whole week.
Yeah.
Oh, praise
Crazy,
God.
man. We
Praise.
actually go literally crazy.
So, what are some crazy things you've seen? I mean, this is an opportunity where we just go bare with just telling pastors to lift up their game if they're not being innovative enough, and congratulate them if they have been innovative.
Okay.
Right? I kind of want to do the former because it feels good.
It's good. Just bang.
just like bash them up a bit.
Laid it. Just laying them.
Just laying it,
Lay it on.
lay it on the pastors.
Lay it on.
Right? Yeah, that's it. They're asking for it, man. They're standing in front of that many people, looking that stupid. You know what I'm saying?
They're just asking for it.
They're
Really.
just asking for criticism, right?
Oh,
asking
man.
for a payout. Well, some innovative things. I mean, like, with the advent of, just last week during the lockdown, we had a chat about online churches, right? Man, you have to get pretty damn creative. I think like the creatives ministry, like if you see church from like back in whoop whoop to wait, that's more of a location, not a time. Back in like dinosaur days to like now, like, you know, people used to meet underground around like a candlelight, right? But nowadays, like, look at Hillsong, man. Like, there's so much flair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yes, there is. I'm not here trying to talk about like, you know, innovationists and like, oh wow, like how much money has a church spent into their, you know, audio and visuals, that kind of stuff. I'm more like, you know, like the Bible is filled with absolute mastery over language and persuasion and rhetoric, right? Like I think that's one of the things that I love about reading the Bible is like the stories and the parables that explain things at such great depth that just makes you go boom. Like it creates a little mini explosion in your head.
Yeah.
You go, wow, I've never seen it that way. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. I mean, God describes himself in how many different ways? It's like he's
1,227.
Oh, there you go. This is the level of knowledge you're going to get with Convicted Christian Community, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that subscribe. But no, seriously, dude, you know, I am the great I am, you know, I am the Father. I am. There's so many, I think there's like a YouTube video. Yeah.
Sure.
All that beautiful stuff, right? Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful what we find in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, but in similar token, like I've seen some pretty cool stuff that the pastors have done. And I just want to talk about it.
Okay.
Over to you first. I've talked too much.
Yeah,
Over to you.
yeah.
Like, what are some cool stuff that you've seen?
Whack things that I've
What's
seen?
some whack things that you've seen pastors do?
I feel like we use the word whack. I think I use it in the wrong way. I use whack to mean something good and bad.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you can figure out what I'm trying to say, you know.
It's like the
half
Christian.
the battle.
It's like the Christian F word, isn't it? It means everything.
Yo, it's whack.
Yeah, yo, whack that. Oh, whack no.
Oh, whack, no. That pastor was whack. Could be good, could be bad.
Could be bad. Nobody knows. Yeah.
That's for you to find out. What are some crazy, not crazy, what are some innovative things I've seen? I've seen like a pastor when he's doing a sermon, like sing a song that he wrote, which I thought, you know, obviously we have worship at church, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, when you mention this, one thing sticks out to me. I have seen a person do a cooking show
Yeah, right.
on stage.
Yeah.
Where they were like baking different things.
Yeah, right.
Innovative, A+, like beyond, you know, what you'd normally see.
Yeah.
So props to her for thinking out of the box. Its relevance to the sermon or to anything Christian like.
Gimmick.
Bare nothing. Like literally.
Yeah.
It sticks out to me and my family. We went to that church service that day. I reckon half the congregation might have walked out. And was actually, it was a bit of a turning point for our church in the sense of,
Leadership, direction.
yeah.
Theology. Yeah.
I mean, we'd had issues
Style.
before. It wasn't just her fault.
Yeah.
It's poor to blame it all on her, but yeah, it was a turning point.
I mean, if that isn't, I don't know what would be. You know?
Often, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the color of tablecloth. It's either really the color of tablecloth or that, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's it.
Really. Some people like blue, some people like red.
It's like, blue, I'm out of here.
No.
I've been to church, so I went to a pretty charismatic church. So, you know, we had people speaking in tongues, prophecies,
Yeah.
which I think for me, you know, growing up in that environment, it's not something new. But like in a sense, I guess you'd say innovative because you don't really see it that often.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, right. We've had our fair share of kids talks, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a church where the pastors and like the leadership did a really good job at putting good kids talks, you know.
Really good.
Yeah, some catch 22. You know, some of the newbies, they have a go and, you know, it doesn't really work how they intend to. But, you know, I've seen dogs brought on stage and, you know, like...
real dogs.
Yeah, real dogs. There was a dog that this guy, he was like one of the newer ones, but he was a real intelligent kid. He was one of the younger blokes that did this kids talk for the first time. And he was trying to teach the kids one very simple message. And that's all kids talk, just one simple message.
Yep.
You know what? That's also sermon because, you know, to regular adult people.
Yeah, it's like,
What, two points to take away from today? Sorry, can't process any more than one. Charismatic churches that talk for 50 minutes. I don't know how you talk about the one thing for 50 minutes, but somehow you do. I think we broke Steve. Like, I don't know what's going on. He's just laughing.
oh man.
Anyway, I've seen this guy do, you know, and I think he's an absolute gift to, you know, to be a pastor someday, right? Like I think the pastor someday.
Yeah.
He's gonna do really well. I think he was very creative too. He basically brought a dog and he was teaching the kids this one message saying, "Yo, you can't serve two masters," right? So he was out the front.
Yeah.
And basically, he had like many siblings. So he brought one of his siblings out, who was also a pretty young adult.
Yeah.
And they stood on both ends of the stage, and they put the dog in the middle, and they were both calling onto the dog and say, "Hey, come here."
Oh, okay.
Right. And the dog couldn't go to both masters, right? It could only go to one master, right? Boom. Point driven, right?
That's good.
The kids got it.
Yeah.
The adults were like, yeah, pretty much explains it. And they prayed and they just shut down the church for the day. That was it. Like,
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Everybody go home. We have been anointed for the week
Vince
now.
Carter, it's over.
That's it. Finished. Go home. See you later. So that was pretty good. Man, I've also seen stuff like on the internet, right? Because that's where you see stuff. And Michael Jr. Have you seen Michael Jr.? He's a stand-up comedian.
Michael Jr.
Michael Jr., man. Like, he's pastor. And he basically has a stand-up routine. And he's funny, man. It's hilarious.
He's a pastor. He's got a stand-up routine.
He's got a stand-up routine. And it is hilarious. And it's fantastic to listen to. And like, you will die laughing. Who's another one? This guy who has a massive dig at Christian music, right? John B. Christ. John B. Christ.
No, I know that guy.
Oh, bro.
He's funny.
This is the stuff, man.
He's good.
Yeah. I mean, these are some creative, innovative. I mean, he just has a dig on the Christian people, right?
Wait,
That's what he
can I
does.
just show you this? I just
Yeah.
searched up Michael.
Chuck it in.
No, I mean, it's just for photos. So it's the African American dude. You want me to get a video?
Oh, why not? Let's actually have a listen of one of them, and then we can just laugh at one of his jokes. Plug it in. So here's a little bit of Michael Jr. Let's have a listen.
Can you hear it?
Hey, that was so cool, man. Y'all gave me a standing ovation. Pastor Robert never gets a standing ovation. Just make sure you mention that. I'm excited about being here. There's gonna be so much. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Yo, there's people in overflow, and then you in double overflow. Man, that's so cool. Get here early. But anyway, thanks for being here. You just kind of just a little tight, a little snug where you at. That's all. It's cool. So we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be so cool. There's people getting baptized. After this, you can go out. You can get baptized. Like, even if you didn't plan to get baptized, they're gonna dip you anyway if you want. You just go back there. They got clothes and they got all this stuff, man. And if you see any black people getting baptized, I want you to really applaud a lot if you could, because we don't like water. I'm just gonna put that out there. So I'm not gonna say all black people don't like water. I'm just gonna say all the black people I know don't like water. I don't know what it is about the water. And I know with the black women, it's the hair. Black women do not want to get their hair wet. You could rob a black woman with a squirt gun. Take it, just take it, just take it, just take it, just. I remember getting baptized. Let me tell you how I learned how to swim before I tell you about my baptism, right? I'm 11 years old, fishing off a bridge. The fish not biting. My dad comes over. He's like, well, let's have some fun. That's how I learned how to swim. Fast forward like 13 years ago, I'm about to get baptized. I'm standing in the water, dude gonna push me, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. Dude gonna push me again. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be trouble in the water. He pushed me one more time. It's gonna be trouble in the water. I'm all creative. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a white dude. He got on a white sheet. I don't know if this is right. Are you gonna let me up? Are you gonna let me up? This is not an 8-minute baptism. And when they baptize you, what do they say? In the name of the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit, dunk you underwater. And I was reading the Bible that Jesus got baptized. I was like, well, what did they say to him? There's like, you, your dad, and your best friend.
That's good, man.
That's good.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, look, look, there is a message to it. towards the end.
It was like 37 minutes. So
Yeah, this is 37 minutes. So
I
like,
imagine there would be a message there.
if you find any sermons stale and boring, like
Yeah.
give this a go.
Yeah.
It will, and you know what? There is a message, and this dude prays at the end.
Yeah.
Like he prays for everybody in the church.
Actually, now that you remind me, man, there used to be a dude at our church that he's probably not as famous as this dude, but he used to always crack jokes in his sermon. So, and like it just like he used to have everyone's attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was funny.
Yeah.
You know, people actually were engaged.
Yeah,
And,
exactly
like,
right.
boom,
Yeah.
Now they're paying attention.
I really appreciated that.
Yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
appreciate that. And you know what? I love to see pastors actually make effort. Jokes. I wonder why I love doing that. But I want to see pastors actually make an effort to actually connect with their audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's powerful. Right. And that's the gift that you really want to use for God's kingdom.
Do you think it's hard trying to connect with people on a weekly basis?
You know what?
I mean, some could argue
Whoa.
we can do that twice a week.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's right.
Fist bump
Look,
that.
woe to the pastors who think that their job is a weekly job. Big time.
Yeah, but they're preaching once a week, right?
Yeah, but like they can connect with people in more ways. This is where the new innovation comes in. Yo, social media. How many people do you know engage with social media all the time?
Heaps.
Almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's how we consume content, right? It's kind of the easiest ways to reach out to your audience. Have a direct relationship with your audience, right? Why don't pastors just create a 1-minute video every day? Just build a relationship with the people. Well, some people may argue, oh, well, that's because your pastor is not a celebrity and they shouldn't be followed like one. But no, it's, look, yeah, and I guess there are traps of doing that, but there's also a trap of standing in front of people at every weekend, feeling like a star as well. If that's the risk that we want to avoid, then we shouldn't even give any spotlight to pastors at all. Yeah. But that's rubbish. I'm just saying, get him, like I've seen some great stuff from social media from pastors where I've seen some great stuff. And I don't mean pastors coming out on social media and like doing a really, really boring, nobody's going to watch Bible study for like 80 minutes. Like that's not what I'm talking about.
Today, we're going to open up the Bible.
I mean, that's cool and stuff, but like you're just creating engaging ways. I mean, we do that for every other cause in life to sell clothes, to sell gimmicks, right? Oh, dude, I was just scrolling through TikTok and then there was this hashtag called TikTok made me buy this. TikTok made me buy it. And it's TMMB. Hashtag TMMB basically gives you all this gimmicky stuff that you can buy. That looks so cool and you would buy on impulse and spend $1,000 just like that. Anything between from like 50-cent items to like 50 grand items that just make people go broke because they spend up, right? They do it for a cause like that. Why can't we share good news? And you know what? On TikTok, there are some great stuff as well. I've seen people pray. I've seen people, unpack really dumb questions in really edifying and wonderful ways. And I see the creativity behind that. And the way that engages not only the Christians, but also non-Christians to actually open up to these messages blows my mind, right? And another wonderful gimmicky, well, don't call it a gimmick because it's actually a good thing. Another wonderful innovation that you see from not pastors, but people with the good news of Christ.
Yeah.
2 guys getting together to do a podcast every twice a week. Yo. Convicted Christian Community. You heard it right here first. Subscribe.
That's it.
You get what I'm saying, man?
I do, man.
Yeah.
What would you say to people that say Christianity isn't supposed to be a fad? It's not supposed to be influential in that way.
I would say Christianity has room for a bit of influence. Yeah. I think it does have quite a large room of influence. That's why we appoint leaders, right? Paul, right? Look at the way he writes to the church of Corinth, for example, right? People are following, all right? And it's the leader's job to actually keep putting that glory back to Christ, right? Not my name will be glorified, but his name be glorified, right? Like just do that constantly. And they're always under that scrutiny with God himself and also his fellow Christians in the church. Yeah. You feel me?
Word.
Exactly. So that's actually not a bad thing to have. Second of all, when you're actually creating content, you're actually creating something for people to listen to. You're not just creating a fad, but you're actually building a relationship with these people. You're speaking to them, you're speaking over them.
Yeah.
We have this edge to be able to do that because there's technology. Oh, social media is such a rubbish place. It's only rubbish because you watch rubbish on it.
How do you think people can start on social media?
How do you think people can start on social media is a fantastic question. Is let go of your reputation. Let go of yourself, right? Don't try to be perfect either. Just be genuine.
I mean, you're looking at 2 guys that are imperfect.
Absolutely.
She's saying just let go.
Just let go. I mean, a lot of the times that I'm a content creator in a different platform and a different topic as well as this one. And one of the best things I've seen is just to take action on whatever comes to your heart at the time, right? That's not a bad thing to do, right? And you know what? We are learning animals, man. We're learning animals. You post one content, that's going to teach us something about the next one. It doesn't do well, try again.
Yeah.
That's it. You consider what these people need to hear. It's a selfless act when you actually post on social media as well. I mean, we have seen the likes of Logan Paul and Jake Paul where they just do whatever the hell they want. But in some ways, they're actually serving what people want. That's why they have a massive following.
Yeah.
And they just make it seem like it's all about them.
You know, I was actually watching this interesting podcast he did with KSI.
Yeah, right.
You know, because I was interested. Like, they used to not like each other.
Yeah.
And they did podcasts together. I was like, whoa, what were they watching?
Yeah.
I actually kind of got a bit of respect for that dude from that.
Yeah, right.
I don't, you know, I don't particularly like his content.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has to be creative every single day.
Yeah.
You know, doing that vlogging stuff every single day to think about what people want to see every single day is hard. It's full on.
It's difficult. You're absolutely right. And look, we see a guy like him who we disrespect all the time, right? Like most Christians, I think, would quite easily. And yet he's able to, for whatever cause or conviction that he has in his heart, wake up every day and do the same thing over and over again and make it improvements on it. Unreal.
Yeah.
Right? That guy does it. Why can't our pastors?
Got a motive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is why we're called the convicted Christian community.
Yeah.
We've got a purpose. There's no reason for us to be convicted without any cause or purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, now pastors, listen up.
Listen up.
Listen up, pastors. What's your conviction and what's your cause? What does that drive you to do? Does that drive you to sit and read more theological books so that you can sound smarter at the front of the stage? Or does it make you simplify stuff so that people can understand and come to understand who Jesus is in a simpler and a more meaningful way, in an engaging way? That's kind of your job, isn't it?
Yeah.
To spread the gospel so that more people can hear it, or the ones that have heard it can continue their relationship with the word on a daily basis, on a regular basis, right?
When someone's like, I don't know if I have the personality.
Doesn't matter.
Social
Fix
media.
it. Fix it. Your personality is shit anyway. Who says your personality is perfect for starters anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a bit Gary V there. But you get what I'm saying, man. Like people go, I'm just not that kind of person. You know what? You were never that kind of person. You will never be that kind of person with that attitude. There is an element. Yeah, well, you know what? People can refute me and say, look, some people are just different. I agree. But don't sell yourself short on what you can turn into, what you can develop into.
Yeah.
And if that's your job, if that's your role, that's a blessing that God has bestowed upon you. Why wouldn't you?
So what I'm hearing is, you know, we have a message
Yeah.
that should be out there
Yeah.
on the platforms that are available.
Yeah.
May not feel like you have the personality for it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Put it out there.
Exactly.
Don't wait.
How many people have you seen that are just absolutely so awkward and weird
Yeah.
that has gone absolutely viral
Yeah.
for a cause far less greater than the love of Jesus Christ? Amen. So what makes you different? And look, even if it's not millions of views, why does it matter if it's got 100 views? There's still 100 people that you reached out today that you couldn't have.
Yeah.
It's either that or you pick up the phone and talk to 100 people and tell about Jesus. That's aggressive though. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right? Or pick 100 friends if you have them to encourage them for the day. Completely fine. I'm not saying pastors don't do this. You know what? Actually, I am saying pastors don't do this. Actually, I'm sorry. I can't sugarcoat that. Some pastors just don't make an effort to engage with their community, to actually connect.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just a weekend job, is it? It's a lot of money to be getting paid for a very simple job that happens once a week. You can't tell me you're working on a sermon for an entire week and you do absolutely nothing else. That's rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking after a community of people.
Yeah.
That's like saying CEO's job is only to address the employees once a week. That's rubbish. They got to address shareholders. They got to address new business.
Yeah.
Yeah, new clients. They got to do everything. That's a CEO's job.
Yeah.
So if you think CEO is basically, you know, the CEO of a company is like the pastor of a church, well then, hey, you got a lot more things to handle than just say a few words.
You know, I'm sure there's pastors out there that catch up with people during the week.
Props
and,
to them.
You know,
Yeah.
running different studies and doing all that jazz and going and catching up with people. Like, yeah, props to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess this is another avenue of sharing the gospel, you know what I mean? And we want to
Exactly.
be, as Christians, we want to be as engrossing
Yeah.
and influential with the people around us as we can. And we just have to realize, you know, that we're moving into a social media society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a perfect example. Like, before we started this, you know, I kind of moved away from social media because it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm very old school. Like I don't really look at like my Facebook, Insta, Snapchat,
Yeah.
TikTok, all that jazz, Twitter. I didn't even have any of those,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm really old school in that way.
Mm.
But I was also like, that's where 750 million people have TikTok.
Wow.
You know? How many billion people have Facebook?
Yeah.
Instagram, same thing.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that those 700 million people don't need to hear the gospel?
Yeah.
You telling me those 700 million people who probably watch an average of 3 hours a day of social media content
Yeah.
can't have a Christian message in that?
Yeah,
Come
wow.
on.
Yeah.
We can't. That's when I realized, like, well, you know what? There should be Christian content on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I don't know whether I have the personality for that.
Mm.
Or I don't know whether I do. That's not the question, though.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before, man, you just got to put that out there. If you believe in the message you have,
Yeah.
if you really believe that what you say is true,
Yeah.
you'd put it out there.
Put it out. Amen.
Social media is probably easier than going and having a conversation with a person
Yeah.
because you at least can hide behind the. And that's
Yeah.
why social media is so big in our society, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because there's none of that physical interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can hide behind that camera,
Yeah.
but you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can say, you know what? I believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
You may not have ever even told your friends that.
Yeah.
You put that up on a video.
Yeah.
Now, 90% of your friends know that.
Yeah.
It's like, boom.
Yeah.
You know, you've just missed that sort of physical interaction with them. But people would know that.
Yeah.
Then you can start going into, actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about why Jesus matters to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to talk about why sin matters.
Yeah.
Why it matters that you turn away from sin. That's what pastors, man.
Yeah.
This is an avenue.
Yeah.
This is an avenue. You know?
Exactly right.
It's not easy. And that's what I want you to hear as well, is that, you know, out of Kay and me, Kay's obviously more of a social media heavy person.
Yeah.
You know, he does it as part of his business and stuff like that, and ventures outside of this podcast. But for me, it found it really hard. But when we had a chat about doing this podcast, there was something I was convicted by. As a convicted Christian
Yeah.
in a community.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Plug.
Was I was convicted by this message that I know. And that all my other Christian brothers and sisters know. And I was convicted that there's a platform for that on social media. You know, and I want more people to be out there, man.
Yes.
More people out there just sharing that
Exactly
good
right.
stuff.
Well, it's either that or more tits and ass to fill up your feed, right? It's just, seriously, just just putting it out there. There's a lot of rubbish on social media.
Yeah, just being real.
It's just being real. It is what it is,
Money,
man. Yeah, money,
stuff.
wealth, all that kind of stuff. And this comes more to light in the advent of the man. I use the word advent a lot today. I need to just chill on that word. It comes in the season of online churches. Man, I've seen some churches that go from just doing your offline churches, and to be honest, not even doing a great job. And then they start this like online church, and then boom, they get all these views, and they actually improve on that content, delivering really good stuff, really encouraging stuff. You know, man, I used to go to an evangelical church. I got my freaking heresy antenna right out, detecting for rubbish,
Yeah,
you know, and I'm listening to some of this stuff, and I'm going, wow, like that was really refreshing. Some of these things. And if you think about it, equivalently, like the physical church in itself, sometimes they talk for more than half an hour, and then you start to see some people doze off as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that we see some really great engaging content from the internet, and I've seen some great stuff come out of this. And you know what? I think it's a lot of things. It's just not about the content, but it's also about the implication of emotion. People say, oh, like emotion is so bad for Christian faith. I'm like, yes, if it's all that, but if it forms a part of, your approach, then I think it's really good as well. And I've seen some really great balances out there, man.
Yeah, man.
And the greatest thing about online is that you can judge churches from one to another, like so quickly, because you can just watch one week, the next, another time and things like that. And, but whereas you go to a physical church and you can't really do much about it, but I think that's the best you're going to get out of online church anyway, because you can't, build a fellowship around that. And we've mentioned something around this, last week already. But I think, having said that, pastors have a really good way to learn. Here's something that I raised with my previous church. Speaking of looking at different churches, is what's called a pastor exchange program.
Pastor
Pastor exchange program. pasture exchange program for the sheep.
Pastor.
We have gone from a Christian podcast to a
I mean, there's some references there.
agricultural
Jesus the shepherd.
pasture. We're all the sheep.
All the sheep.
Yeah.
It's like pastor
Exchange program.
Yeah, keep going.
That's it. 10 weeks out of the year, 5 weeks out of the year
yeah.
at the very minimum, right? We get the pastors to visit other churches.
Yeah.
Just become the normal guy there that's new. Be welcomed as a newcomer. Rock up to church 15 minutes early. All that jazz. You get what I'm saying as a newcomer would be, right? And then they listen to the sermon. They listen to the worship, right? All that kind of stuff. All the leaders the same. Music directors, all that kind of stuff. Go to a different church, see how it's done. Take notes. Exchange ideas, right? Because if your church is doing really well, it's especially a bigger problem for you because you'll be more demanded, with work, and you'll be more fixated with going to that church and that church only, and you'll be bogged down in the ways of doing things that your church is doing, and you're developing it in a way, in a direction that your church agrees on, blah blah blah. Like, you can get really bogged down in the style, meaning that it has the potential to go real stale, a cesspool of repetition.
Yeah.
Go check out some other churches, especially if you're a pastor.
Yeah.
Take notes on what are good, what are bad. Compare it with the way you do where you do you. People do that. People look at even in commercial situation, in business, people look at the way other people perform and what's the difference between them and you, so that they can make improvements on it. For what cause? To make more money.
Yeah. To make it better.
Make it better.
One thing I did think was weird when I came to this church that we used to go to.
Yeah.
Because I went to a charismatic church before that, Pentecostal church. They always used to have like interim pastors or visiting pastors come through.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, I wouldn't say not all the time, but like they would, right?
Yeah.
We'd get people from in America, from UK, from Malaysia.
Yeah.
People from interstate.
Yeah.
So when I came to this church and they barely had it, I did find it weird. You know what I mean? But it was like, okay, it's not a big thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, I reckon, two sermons that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
In like the 5 years I've been at this church.
Yeah.
Were from interim pastors. Guest pastors coming to preaching.
Exactly right.
One guy from Barber College in New South Wales, and another guy from Newcastle University in New South Wales, Australia.
Yeah.
Fantastic sermons, man.
Great stuff.
And nothing against the pastors at this church, but fresh voice is also good.
Yeah, look, novelty is not a bad thing. They say God's love is new every morning. You know what I mean? Like, novelty is important. It's refreshing. It's good.
I reckon it helps keep the your congregation engaged as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly
like you
right.
said, it just gets out of that. What did you say? Cesspool of
repetition and tradition, bogging down in the process. Here's the thing, though. Yes, I totally get what you're saying about these Pentecostal churches, but Pentecostal churches, charismatic churches, you're not off my hook. You're not off Convicted Christian Community's hook. I'll tell you why. Because y'all invite the same type of pastors to your church anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you get me?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
If you're a Pentecostal church leader and you're a pastor, go to an evangelical church. Trust me, you will pick something up that you're missing. I'll tell you anything. Your evangelical church, highly theological, right? Maybe Reformed Anglican type. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about anyone in particular here. Maybe I am. Go and check out a Pentecostal church. Don't always disrespect them for all the dance moves that they have. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, don't let that go. Like, there are ways that these people are touching people's hearts. Maybe more than you will. Not the number is a big deal, but you know what? In a way that might be better than you deliver. And there might be something that you could learn from them and deliver, right? You might say, but I'm polluting my niche in my church. Your church shouldn't be a niche, man. Come on. Your church should exist for the people, for God's people, right? So that's my suggestion to the pastors out there, any leaders out there, church exchange program.
Do like a trade.
Do like a trade,
like an NBA trade.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, it doesn't matter to any exchange. It could be like a church espionage program, if you like. You know what I mean? Because if you organize with the other church, then it's too much legwork. So just send your pastors out to spy on what other churches do. Go learn,
Just go, like you just said, just go and pretend to be a new person. Not pretend. Go and be a new person at a church. And just learn, man.
Exactly right.
That's what we all do, like in our professions, man. You know what I mean? For me, my job.
Yeah.
I'm constantly learning from other physios.
Yeah, exactly. For what benefit? just to have people with, functioning backs? That's a way crappier cause than going to heaven and having eternal life.
But you do it because you want to learn. I
Yeah.
want to learn from as many different types of physios as I can.
Keep that attitude, pastors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pastors, man, just go and interact with a pastor who's absolutely different to you.
Yeah.
The way they do stuff is absolutely different. But what is the same thing that you guys have? Is you're convicted that Jesus is Lord and Savior. So there's something that holds you together. And then fight and find what it is that holds you together and the inferences that you can get from that.
Yeah.
You might go like, actually, you know what? The way these guys do this thing at church is so encouraging.
Yeah. And we've got so much work to do in that
I
department.
want to just bring some fresh air into this. And
Yeah.
no church is going to be perfect.
Exactly.
I reckon sometimes congregations and pastors rest on the laurels of, oh, there's no church that's perfect. We're just going to have that in heaven. So we're just going to continue being stagnant.
Yeah,
It's like,
we're gonna continue being crap.
You got to keep fighting for pursuing that, man.
Amen.
That's what the gospel is. Pursue that. You're pursuing that in your career. You pursue that in your family.
Yeah.
You don't stay stagnant in your family.
No way.
You're constantly growing through all the challenges and good and bad in it.
Yeah.
You interact with other families and learn what's good, what's bad.
Exactly.
Why would you not do that with your family and God? So
Amen.
to pastors, but also to people in the church as well, if you have an opportunity, go and visit another church and learn. Don't go there to judge them. That's the worst thing you could do. Go in with an open mind. Learn. Grow. God wants you to grow. He's not always going to have this particular niche of Christian come into the kingdom.
Yeah.
Guess what? All these different niches are going into the kingdom.
Yeah.
So you might as well try to learn now.
Exactly right. And if you go to a church and you genuinely think it's crap, just don't do anything that they do. Then there's your answer. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
There's your answer. And you know what? Something really ridiculous. Tell you a quick story. I spoke with a pastor that's been serving at this church for 10 years. And I asked him, how many churches have you been to the last 10 years? Like, I've been to 2 other churches once. I'm like,
2?
Yeah, 2 other churches once in the last 10 years than this one.
Were they from the same type of, was it?
Yeah, similar
church
stuff. Yeah, similar kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
But that basically has taken us from like, wow, I've seen some really great innovative stuff from pastors to like, hey, pastors, you need to do this.
We think you should do this.
Yeah, we think you should do this. And you know what?
You know what? There might be some who just listen to this and be like, no, I don't want to do it. That's okay.
That's okay.
Carry on doing what you're doing. And if you're doing it well, keep going. But there might be some that are like, you know what?
There's something about
There's
that.
something about this.
Exactly right.
And hopefully there's more people that would be keen on pursuing different ways,
Yeah. Pursuing innovative ways.
innovation.
Yeah. And just that wisdom behind your ministry, that it is constantly at work. It's constantly manifesting itself in beautiful, amazing ways where it results in more people hearing about the love of Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Amen.
That's what we want to see, right?
That's what you want.
Exactly right. And people who are existing in Jesus' love to actually continue their relationship in a deeper fashion. That's what you want. Thanks for tuning in.
Great place to end it. Catch you next time.
Convicted Christian Community. Peace.